Hello, my name is Michael Berg, and on behalf of U-Time International Movement, I'd like to thank you for joining us. This webinar is part of our ongoing series, which is Future Skills for Workplace Sustainability. And if you've missed any of our previous webinars, do not worry. You'll be able to catch up to our YouTube channel just by searching U-Time International Movement and subscribing. Today's webinar is brought to you by our expert speaker, Ricardo Sanchez, who is a hacker and security specialist at Secura. He'll be showing us how hackers hack, giving us further awareness on how to safeguard our online presence. So without further ado, let's begin.
Okay, so the talk of today is how hackers hack and how to be safe online. But I have to start by saying that the opinions that I'm going to say are my own and not the views of my employer. So that is particularly important when you start asking me questions. Okay, cool. So who am I? So I have certifications. I'm mostly specialized in cloud security, but I have the normal hacker one like CISP, OSCP, Certified Ethical Hacker, and a couple of SANS ones. The real who am I? I'm originally from Mexico, in a little place in the southeast, well, depending on your point of view, little or big, called Merida. I have a Mexican bakery with my wife here in Amsterdam. I'm living in the Netherlands. He is my baby, he's Taco. You cannot be more Mexican than that. I wrote 2 books a long time ago about Twitter and Facebook marketing and technology. And I have a blog. So if you're interested in hacking, just Google Mexican Pen Tester or just go to mexicanpentester.com. There you can find my LinkedIn contact and my email and stuff like that if you want to reach me. So let's start with hacking is a crime and it's not a crime depending on how you do it. So some of the stuff that I'm going to show you today are directly related to how to hack. So just be really careful not to do it without permission. So I will show you how to hack. So just be aware that it's illegal in most parts of the world. There are 2 types of hackers. Okay, so the first question that I always get is why are you a hacker and why you are not in jail? Okay, so there are 2 types of hackers: the good hackers, let's say, and the bad hackers. So the good hackers, like me, the point of what we're trying to do is to increase the security of companies. So, for example, now I'm working in a bank. This couple of months I was hired by a bank, so I have to check all their applications, and if I find something. I find problems, I have to tell the developers and they have to fix it. So the point is to develop a high security structure, infrastructure. And the bad hacker will try to steal stuff, or I will show you what a bad hacker will do. But essentially, a good way to explain it is I will go to a building and try to find all the security problems, and I will tell the person in charge, and then he will fix it. That's what I do. But to do it, I have to act like a normal hacker. So I use hacker techniques, hacker tools, hacker everything. This is one of my favorite graphs. So the way that cybersecurity has evolved can be understood with this graph. So in 1980s or 1990s, the first virus or the first worm was invented. And it was the Morris worm. So essentially, it was a little program that was auto-replicating and was done just by someone that was playing. But the problem is that he did it so well and so wrong at the same time that the worm was multiplying a lot of times in the same machine, making the machine to crash. So it was actually the first conviction in the US, that the Morris worm in 1980s, 1990s. If you think about it, there was no direct monetary gain or anything. They were just playing. So if you check, it was from amusement, experimentation, authority. They were just playing, the back hackers. Then Michelangelo was a little bit more destructive. It was transmitted in floppy disks and normal disks, not in USB, because back then there were no USB. And it was sleeping. It was a virus that was sleeping until the 6th of March. That was the birthday of Michelangelo. Then we'll just awake and then delete something randomly. Then stuff start getting more complex. And then in Melissa, for example, in 1999, it's kind of the start of macros and emails. They will just go to your Outlook or whatever email thingy you had, and will send 50 letters or 15 emails. And then that will be the way of propagating it. That grew a lot. And then the guy of Melissa was in prison, and he caught the guy of Anna Kournikova. So I think that Anna Kournikova, and I Love You were really, really famous and really, really big with the email scene. Fast forward to now. So if we start in the malware, before it was just for amusement or games, then just to mess around with emails. And now with SUSE and Aurora and Stuxnet, we are seeing a level of sophistication of hackers that it's amazing. SUSE is literally an organized crime trying to hack people. And Stuxnet was a virus that was discovered in nuclear facilities that was destroying the nuclear places. So the level of sophistication was just amazing. So we still have the script kiddies and the hackers that just want to play, but now we have to be careful with the corporate espionage, organized crime, and state-sponsored attacks. That's the point of this part. So 2019, 2020, the hackers are part of organized crimes or state-sponsored attacks. So we have to be much more intelligent and much more smart. So let's start with the practical stuff. Let's talk about phishing. Phishing is a cybercrime in which a target or targets are contacted by someone, normally by email, but it's not only by email, they are impersonating any other stuff. So banks, for example. So it's very common to get an email saying that the bank needs your password information, or my university needs password information, or stuff like that. The email per se is the center of everything. If you get your email compromised, you will have huge problems, because the email is connected to the banks, to your Facebook account, to other emails, to everything, to your pictures. So the emails are really valuable. So this is an example of how a phishing attack works. You have a user saying the email is phishing, and the other one says, no, it's an invoice. And then they try to find out if it's an email or an invoice or virus or something. So yeah, was a phishing email. And then another person will. So that's how phishing emails work. So how do we hackers do phishing emails? What I'm going to show you and explain you is how easy a phishing email is done in practice. So this is me, and this is me doing a phishing email. The only thing that you need to go, well, there's something called GitHub. That GitHub is an open place where you can download code, and this is totally free. So you go to this page, github.com/blackeye, and you copy these 4 or 5 lines of code. Git clone, you're cloning all the code. You're not doing anything else. You're moving CDs to move, change directory. You're moving to the directory of the code that you download, and you execute the code you downloaded. Nothing else. As easy as that. That will show you 32 different templates of phishing emails. So in this case, you can pick between Snapchat, Twitter, Microsoft, WordPress, GitLab, Messenger, Shopify, everything. So I pick LinkedIn and just click 9, nothing else. my ngrok authenticator. That's just a token to connect to the internet. Copy paste, cool, and then that will generate a link. This link is a malicious link. So if I copy the link and open it in a browser, you see the exact LinkedIn page. You see it in the left, and at the right, you see all the information of the victim. You see the host name, the IP, where I'm located, my IP address. My IP address is this one here. That I'm using Firefox, that I'm connecting from Linux. Everything is here, and it says waiting for credentials. So once the victim puts their credentials, so a fake email, fake password, and he clicks enter, the hacker will get exactly the credentials. So this is how easy it is to make a phishing email. Nothing else. So let's recapitulate. This is the templates that you can download from the internet, super free and easy. PayPal, Wi-Fi, Twitch, Spotify, Netflix, Amazon, all the phishing emails that we get of Netflix, they may be done with this kind of tools. Apple ID, everything. And this is the information that the hacker gets immediately at the moment that you click on the link. IP address, if you're connecting from Linux or Windows or Mac, your browser, IPs, the location, this is the provider of my internet. They get a lot of information. And before, a long time ago, if the phishing email had a little lock here, it was secure, but it's not the case anymore. So now the lock is only that they are using a certificate, but the phishing emails that I generated were using a lock, so it's not, that doesn't mean anything. This will validate my email. So if the email is invalid, you will see, hey, your email is wrong, and the password and the password buttons work. So if you click show, it will show the password. And this is the password manager. So even if you're using a password manager, I will be able to steal your password and your email. So be super careful with the phishing. There's a phishing version 2 that is floating around already. Without getting the username and password, you give permissions to someone for using an app that is connected to your email. So this is requesting access to Outlook, and it's requesting read your contacts, sign and read your profile, read your email, read and write your mailbox settings, and have full access to all files you have access to. So this is the version 2 of phishing. They can hack you, or we can hack you, without you giving me your credentials anymore. So this is a new version of phishing. It's the same that happens, for example, in your Android or in your iPhone. Once you install an application, it will say what you're giving permissions to. And sometimes, I don't know, you install a calculator and they're asking permission for reading emails or sending text messages. That should not be the case. Just be careful with that. So another thing that we as hackers do a lot, we try to guess your password. And there are a lot of public lists that have passwords. So for example, because I'm living in the Netherlands, here's a Dutch password list, the most common Dutch passwords. So what we normally do is grab that list and we try it in your accounts. That will normally give us a hit. If not, we generate our own lists via your websites or social media. So this is another open source tool that essentially checked that essentially extracts all the password, well, not all the password, essentially extracts all the words that you are using in a web page. So for example, if I connect the tool to the website of my company, and I tell them extract all the passwords that are extract all the words that are longer than 4. So for example, I'm telling them extract all the all the words that are bigger than 5 letters of this website, secura.com, but I can point that to LinkedIn, my LinkedIn Ricardo, or my Instagram. And after a while, you will see all the words that were extracted. So for example, I really like Mustangs because, yeah, I really like Mustangs, or my dog name is Taco. So as a hacker, that information is really valuable. So I will point this application or this program to my Instagram or to the Instagram of the victim, and I will extract all the words that they are using, because there's a lot of chances that I'm talking about Mustangs or my dog Taco in there. Once I get all those words, I will try to use them against you. So this is how we hack. There are other ways of hacking, just asking for information. These are Facebook applications of what type of princess you are or stuff like that. So essentially the application is requesting permissions to access my basic information, send emails, post in my wall. You are giving them all the information. And then they ask you a lot of questions. Where you were born, how old are you, how many siblings do you have, your mom name, stuff like that. All that is part of your security questions. So all these apps are extracting the information that the hacker will use to access your accounts. Sometimes it's just asking the questions.
Cybersecurity today and how safe people's passwords are. What is one of your online passwords currently?
It is my dog's name and the year I graduated.
So this is real. It's just a random person in the street asking other one for their passwords.
From high school.
Oh, what kind of dog do you have?
I have a Chihuahua Papillon.
And what's its name?
Jameson.
Jameson. And where'd you go to school?
I went to school back in Greensburg, Pennsylvania.
What school?
Hempfield Area Senior High School.
Oh, when did you graduate?
In 2009.
Oh, great.
So at the beginning of the video, they ask her, what's your password? And she said the name of my dog, and then when I graduate. And then they start making conversation. At the end, they end up with the name of the dog and
it's like
and the
my
year.
cat's name and then just like a random number.
Essentially the same cat name and a random
Did you have
number.
this cat for a while?
Yeah, she's my childhood pet.
Aw. And what's her name?
Her name is Jolie.
Jolie. So like a password of yours would be Jolie and then a number.
Yeah.
Like number 1.
Like my birthday.
Oh, when is your birthday?
June 12th.
Oh, nice. And what year were you born?
95.
Oh, great. So Jolie 6, 12, 95.
Yes.
Got it.
So she just told the password, literally.
So you mean to give my password right now? No, I cannot do that.
But we all want to know what it is so we can tell you if it's strong or not.
Oh my goodness. Let me think. Okay, one is Tel Aviv. Yeah. 468, and then Israel. It's only 3, but it's for me it's strong enough.
Ireland, 1, 2, 3, 4. Gemma, 1, 2, 3. Spelled Gemma.
Well, most of them are Italian.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Like
So
what? Like what's a good Italian password?
my grandma's name,
What's your grandma's name?
Maria.
Maria. So Maria is your password?
Oh yeah, now you know my password. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is something that we as a hacker do a lot of times. Sometimes we just call the victim and just ask for the password. Normally we'll say, hey, we're talking from the technical support desk. We know that you're having problems, or we know that you are working from home. Can you please tell me your password? I'm going to reset it. Or if you are using multi-factor authentication, the thing is that they send your code by messenger, like my messages. I will just ask for the code, and people will normally give it to you.
Cyber.
So after getting those words, common words from your social media, so in my case, Taco is one of the most common things mentioned in my social media. We have something that is called the Kraken. So essentially this computer that we have here with a lot of graphic cards. So it's super fast computer, and we will try thousands or millions of passwords per second. So this is something that we normally do. So Let's say that taco is the word. I will try to lowercase everything, uppercase everything, capitalize the word, toggle the case, change to ads, reverse the word, duplicate the word, rotate the word, add an exclamation mark, add numbers, delete the first character. So let's say that taco was the word that this machine is going to try. It will try taco with all lowercase, taco with all uppercase, taco with capital T, inverted capitalized, so taco with lower T and ACO, and then it will add 1, 2, 3, 4, then change the A to add, then the O to 0. So essentially, this is the way of guessing passwords. So normally I will ask in a live environment, how many of the passwords do you think that we're able to guess when we go to companies? So we were doing this for a big health research facility here in the Netherlands, and they had 5,000 users. We were able to discover around 30 or 40% just guessing the passwords like this, 30 or 40% in 7 minutes. That was insane, including an administrator. So this is really good way of hacking someone, just guessing passwords. So there are pages that will tell you how secure your passwords are. Of course, please don't put your real password in here. Please don't do it. But as an example, talking about taco, assuming that my password is taco, 1, 2, 3, it will take a hacker 1 second to crack because it's only 7 characters long. If I put 1, 2, 3, 6, it will take 1 minute a hacker to crack. If I put a capital T, 3 minutes. Symbol, a little bit longer, but it's only 6 hours. So yeah, we have to be really careful with the passwords. And this is super cool too, password reusals. People tend to use the same passwords everywhere. So this is a website that will tell you if your email has been like compromised before. So essentially, Adobe was hacked in 2013, and the hackers were able to extract 153 million Adobe accounts. So if you are using, or me in this case, the same password that I was using in 2013, then the hackers have them already. But it's the same with something more modern. I don't know. Verification.io was hacked in 2019. Lead Hunter in 2020. This thing in 2019. Collection 1 of unverified location 2019. So if my password is something similar to anything that I was using with all these 14 places, well, 11 data breaches, then my password is known by hackers. So me as a hacker, we have databases with all this information, or we only have to buy the database, and we will see the password that you were using in LinkedIn in 2016. So if you're using something similar as password that you were using in whatever this page tells you that you were hacked, you need to change it. So how do you protect yourself? So the story of the passwords were a long time ago, 50 years ago, when the computers were huge, they were shared in universities. So someone had the idea of put a password to limit the time that the students were using the computer. The problem is that they put the passwords in a text file. So one student was super smart enough to find the text file in the computer, print it, and start using other people's passwords. And another student discovered that by turning off the program that was checking the time before logging out the computer, the time was not counted. So the passwords, since they were invented 50 years ago, have been hacked. So the password is not enough. So how can you be secure? It's called multi-factor authentication or two-factor authentication. Is instead of only the password, that is something that you know, you can use something you have and something you are. That's the ideal situation. So I'm going to give you an example. Something you know is the password. Something you have is your phone. And something you are is your fingerprint or your eye or something like that. If you check your bank or you have to enter to your bank, it will normally ask you your token information, little thingy that changed the numbers, and your password, for example. And if they are good, they will say that if you are living in certain part, then that. So if I connect to my bank account from, I don't know, from Germany and I live in the Netherlands, that maybe have a red flag in the bank. So this is how to fix it. The passwords are not enough. So how do you enable two-factor authentication? So there are apps that have two-factor authentication. In this case, it's one called Google Authenticator. You only need to download it. And you enable two-factor authentication in anywhere. Go to Authenticator app, and we'll give you a code, a QR code. You scan the QR code. This is a QR code, okay? Once you scan it, the application will give you a set of numbers that change every minute. So every time that you log in to whatever you are trying to log in this case, this guy is trying to log into Gmail, Gmail will ask for these 6 numbers and your password. So if someone like me is able to guess your password or to steal your password or whatever, I will not be able to log into your account because I don't have your authenticator information. And it's like that. So essentially, I use Authy, but the video was of Google Authenticator there a lot. I use Authy because it's easier to back up. So essentially, you go to whatever, for example, Facebook, or you go to Gmail, Hotmail, whatever, you go to settings, multi-factor authentication, or settings security, multi-factor authentication, and it will show you this QR. You scan the QR, and then it will give you numbers, 6 numbers every minute. It will be different. To log into your Facebook, for example, it will ask you for username, password, and these 6 numbers. If the 6 numbers are not there, it will not let you in. You can do exactly the same in Facebook. You go to two-factor authentication. Don't click on text message because it's really normal for a hacker to just call your cell phone provider and tell them that you forget your chip or whatever, and they will send you another chip. It's a very common way of hacking. It's called sweep swapping. It's complicated in English, but essentially they change the SIM and they steal your SIM. And then with the Authenticator app, you will be able to log in. You can also enable Find My Android. That it's amazing. So if you ever lose your Android, now that all your codes are in there, you can use Find My Android to find where's your Android. So in this case, for example, it was Find My iPhone, that it's exactly the same that Find My Android. The people that were stealing iPhones in the US, once the iPhone was stolen, they got a notification saying, please return this iPhone to the Walnut store, or the street that they had the iPhone stolen. And the iPhone has been disabled, and the local authorities will know where you are. So this really, really, really works. Find My iPhone works exactly like that. You go to iCloud, Find My iPhone, and you activate it. And if you ever lose your iPhone, just go to Find My iPhone and activate it. I can give you an example. I was walking with my dog, and there was snow, and we were playing outside, and my phone fell from my pocket. and I never realized that. So when I got home, I log in my computer to find my Android, make it ring, and then I went out to find my phone and it was there. So this really, really, really works. So the normal attacks outside of phishing that hackers can do is virus, adware. So adware is essentially put malicious ads in your computer or ads in your computer. Ransomware, so essentially ransomware, I'm as a malicious hacker, I will put password in your computer and all your files, and I will not give you the password if you don't pay. Keylogger, I can put a program in your computer that will record everything that you're typing and I will get it. And something that it's really, really, really new, that it's called cryptojacking. So essentially, I will have programs running in your computer that are mining cryptocurrencies. This is very common in big companies. Even huge companies like Tesla or really, really, really big companies have been hit either by ransomware or by cryptojacking. So essentially, the hacker will come in, put a program that will use all the resources of the computer, and start using it to mine cryptocurrencies. So how to stay secure online? That's the main question. It's a probability game. Just don't be the easiest one to hack. The hackers that we were talking about will only hack the easiest ones to hack. So we call it the low-hanging fruits, these ones. So if you use strong passwords, this is important. What is a strong password? It's something that it's mostly a passphrase. So it's not one word and letters. So it's 2 or 3 words together, okay? Unique passwords, don't use the same passwords in different accounts, because if one of the accounts get compromised, then all your, because you're using the same password, everybody has it. So for example, if you're using your password in your university, do you trust the people in your university to be storing the password safely? Probably not. The administrator of your university has access to that password. So that password, he can just go to your Facebook and try it. If you're using the same password, he will be able to access your account. Store your password in a password manager if you like them, or enable two-factor authentication, or both, or multi-factor authentication. Always, always, always update your computer. And then if you want to be a hacker, what you have to do? There are operating systems called, for example, Kali Linux, that it's our operating system. For example, you have Windows, Mac, and you have Linux. There's a specific flavor of Linux called Kali that is for hacking. It's free and you only have to download it and then essentially start hacking. There are web pages to try to hack or to practice hacking. For example, this one that it's called Hack the Box. There are games for hackers called Capture the Flag. So essentially you need to hack, and there are web applications that you can hack or web pages that you can hack that are made for hacking. So for example, the OWASP UShop is for that, is for hacking. So you only have to download it and start hacking. And that's all. Let me see. Questions, anyone? I have been receiving a lot of questions.
Great, thank you very much, Ricardo, for that. I find that really, really insightful and showing the actual kind of background work of everything going on, instead of it just being a case of you stating what is a good password. You're showing really what goes into hackers and what they do to try and identify those. It's pretty cool to see, to be honest with you. It makes your eyes open a little bit more.
Yeah, it's more interesting live when I can speak to people and ask, but in this case is just be super careful. The two things, that the passwords are very vulnerable and they're really easy to guess if they are not done correctly. So for example, the company that I told you, I was able to guess, 2,000 passwords in 7 minutes of 2,000 different people. So if I really want to hack you, for example, I will find your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, and I will extract all the words that you normally use. I will find the common passwords in your language, and then I will just try. And there's a lot of chances that I will guess your password.
So I suppose there's a tip there, maybe that if it's possible for people, is to pick passwords which are not just unique to them, they're generally unique. They're words you're not going to typically be using, or something which is just completely random to yourself, but it'd be memorable to yourself. So you're not going to accidentally talk about it in conversations or mention it like your pet's name or anything like that. It's going to be something completely unique. Yeah.
A really good example, or a really good way of generating a password, it's a phrase. So your favorite song, pick a phrase. Your favorite book, pick a phrase. Why? Because there are multiple passwords. I will not be able to get them from anywhere. It's very unique and it's really easy to remember. And then it's really easy it's really hard to hack. So that's the way. You say, for example, I don't know, I like to play PlayStation. That is really, really, really good password. It's long, it's easy to remember, and yeah, you will not find it in any dictionary. And it's very unique. I can tell you that not a lot of people will have a password called, I like to play PlayStation. That's a really good example.
I suppose that kind of brings into question where you're saying kind of play the probability game of getting hacked. So if obviously the hackers will go for the easier passwords to begin with.
Exactly.
Is that hopefully over time though, more people, so like the viewers at the moment, become more aware and they will end up developing harder passwords to crack. They'll also have more than one way to identify themselves, so whether it be a mobile, so find your mobile with the app there. And also businesses, which hopefully will get even smarter, where you'd be required to make a really complicated password more so than they do now. So that makes everyone eventually will kind of come up to a level playing field, you like to think, and hopefully so everyone gets more secure. But wouldn't that mean that everyone's kind of more open to getting hacking as that goes on? Or is it a case of there will be a point in time where we can create things so complicated that it's not even worth the time for any hackers to even attempt doing anything? Do you reckon that would ever be the future?
Yeah, that's what you have to achieve by yourself. Like a hacker will also be able to hack someone. And because the technology that the hacker uses grows at the same time that the technology that the business uses, so there's always going to be a low-hanging fruit. So if you don't want to be hacked, just don't be the low-hanging fruit. So the low-hanging fruit is going to be the person using the password, or the password 1234567 or the PIN code in his phone 0000 or 1111. That's the kind of people that will most likely get hacked or will get hacked before. Yeah. So I have questions. Do you want me to start? Because they have been writing to my WhatsApp.
Yeah. Feel free to take them.
So can you hack back? That's a really good question. And it's a really complicated question. Yes and no. The problem of a good hacker, when you try to hack him back, in practicality, is that he will not be using his computer to hack. So a malicious hacker will probably hack someone else and use that computer to jump and attack you. So who are you hacking back? You're hacking back the person that was hacked first. Like it's very common, especially with state-sponsored attacks, to try to not show that your country was the one that hacked. So who are you going to hack back? The one that you suspect that hacked you, or the one that, the computer was located in, I don't know, in the third country, that country you are going to hack. So the hackback complexity or question is really complicated to to do. You can try to hack back, but it's going to be probably illegal depending on where you live, and it's going to be really, really hard technically to find the real hacker. If it's a really good hacker, in practice, it's going to be probably illegal and it's going to be really difficult. So question, where is Taco? Taco is somewhere here. Here. Are password manager secure? Depends. I use a password manager, but again, the password manager will have all your passwords in the same place. And if your password manager is not secure, and if the password of the password manager is not secure, then you have a problem. So password managers are a good second line of defense, but it's not everything. And I really, really recommend multi-factor authentication instead of password managers. What do you think about Libra or DIM? So for the people that doesn't know, Libra or DIM is the cryptocurrency that Facebook is trying to launch. I think that it's going to be a headache for a lot of governments and countries. And if they manage to do it, that will change the world. I think that it's going to be big and huge. But that's just my perspective and my opinion. But
speaking of that cryptocurrency, I know that we had a short conversation previously regarding it, is that obviously people have in the past had kind of identity theft where hackers have kind of got into bank accounts and things. With the world moving more towards cryptocurrency, especially after Elon Musk purchasing so much of Bitcoin, that if the currency is moving towards that and it's all digital, are we more vulnerable? We spoke before, and I mean, from my history of what my understanding of Bitcoin is it's so complicated that it's meant to be impossible to trace the actual transaction itself. But you raised a really good point of saying that you wouldn't try and hack the transaction, you'll hack the wallet.
Exactly. I will not try to hack Bitcoin per se. I will try to hack Ricardo because I know that Ricardo owns Bitcoin, and I will try to guess his password, and I will try to do it. And, you know, like I will not go and try Bitcoin. I hack Bitcoin. I will hack his phone. I will hack his computer. I will hack his brain trying to guess his password, you know? And the problem of Bitcoin is that the transactions are not reversible. You know, if I steal your bank money and the bank realize on time, they can claim the money back, or they can freeze the money in another place. With Bitcoin, you cannot do that. And
that's
Bitcoin
the same thing as friends and family PayPal, which a lot of I suppose con artists use online as well. Is that you can't get the transaction back from friends and family. If it's private, you can, but friends and family you can't, sadly.
But still, you know, like at the end, you know that PayPal will end up in a bank account, and it's kind of it's not 100% anonymous, but still PayPal is easier to trace than Bitcoin. Still, Bitcoin is traceable, but you need to know what you're doing. Like a lot of hackers have been discovered not only by the Bitcoin that they're moving, but sometimes because of their lifestyle. So if you are not working, you are 23, 25-year-old, how do you have 2 Ferraris? You know, like you are clearly doing something strange. So yeah.
Same principle as it's money laundering, really, but it just means that everyone's transactions will eventually be classed as in the same sort of way as laundering. You'll have to do a transaction, then withdraw it to another account, So you're just tracking the same way as you'll track anyone to do money laundering.
Exactly.
Does that make us safer if we're already kind of knowledgeable in that manner, or is it? Do you think it's just exactly the same risk as it already is using our normal bank accounts?
I don't understand your question. Safe if you're trying to do money laundering?
No. Safer as in for risk of having any hacker trying to get into our wallet. So if we're already more prepared having this for money laundering as there already exists. So we've already got agencies and security firms who are already set up to try and track money laundering. If they just input it into a larger scale, does that mean that we will actually be more secure using something like Bitcoin rather than a normal bank account?
I think that it's just different, you know, and at the end it's the same money laundering techniques, but they are done by different people. So before, I can tell you, like the darknet to sell and buy drugs, that you know there always have been drug sales, and there always, I think that it's always going to be a problem of drug buying and drug selling. But the type of people buying and selling drugs now, they are different than the type of people buying and selling drugs in the streets, or you know, in the dark markets. It's a totally different type of people. You know, you have the more nerdy or geeky person. It is the same. The geeky nerdy is the one that will know how to move money in cryptocurrencies without getting caught. And before, it was other type of people, you know, like the hedge fund managers or stuff like that. So it's just changing to a new generation. Now the millennials will be doing this instead of the older people, in my opinion. But at the end, it's the same principle of money laundering and same principle of being hacked. You know, like essentially don't get hacked.
Yeah, so it's not a case of we're going to be more vulnerable. It's just the same as it's always been. We just need to be a bit more prepared for ourselves and just make it harder work for those hackers. Make them try and give up earlier.
Exactly. So can you give a talk on cryptocurrencies? Yes, but probably I'm not the best one for doing that. Are all the companies hackable? That's a really good question. I can tell you that most of the companies that I tried to hack, I was able to hack. So with the proper amount of time, all the companies are hackable because there's always a way in. But again, with the example of the low hanging fruit, the companies need to not be the easiest one to hack. Okay, I have a lot of questions. If you want to interrupt me, okay? Does privacy exist? Not really. And I get a lot the question of WhatsApp. Should I change to Telegram or should I change to Signal? I don't think that it matters, to be honest, because if you're using Android, Google owns your phone and knows everything about you. If you're using Chrome to search, if you're using Google to search, they know what you're searching. If you're using Gmail, they know everything that you're writing. If you're using Google Maps, they know where are you going. You know, like the fact that they know a little bit more of your phone number will not change a lot, to be honest.
We actually had a conversation about this, which was raising about the encryption for WhatsApp. So with Facebook taking over WhatsApp, people thinking it ends the encryption. They're stating it's not going to end the encryption. They're just going to take your basic login details, so your name, your number, but your actual messages will still maybe be encrypted. But you raised a really good point, which was the encryption doesn't really help you because they can, as you say, can get your information from anywhere else. It more helps the organization so they can pass blame.
So what this discussion was about is when a company like Facebook or WhatsApp is seeing your messages, they are responsible of what you are writing. So let's say that you work with child pornography or whatever, and WhatsApp can read your messages. They are legally, they have the legal responsibility of stop you. But if they do end-to-end encryption, that means that only you and me can see the message, only us. WhatsApp is not responsible of what we are talking about. So that's a way of protecting them, not protecting you. I don't know, like iPhone, for example, with the FBI sue, Apple to try to break their encryption for a terrorist attack. I don't know, 5-10 years ago. And what iPhone was saying is that I can't break it. It's not that I don't want to, is I can't. And that's a really safe thing to say as a company, because you are telling everybody in the world that you cannot hack, even if you are sued to do it. And imagine if all the police organizations in the world can just go to Apple with phones and say, hey, please hack this for me. It will be a mess for them. So in practice, the end-to-end encryption and not having a backdoor is good for the companies. They are not doing it because they like you. They are doing it because they don't want problems.
Great. But it shows there that you encrypt your messages, unless you've got something you're talking about, you're hiding, as long as it doesn't involve you going online, it doesn't involve you looking at any sort of images or videos or anything like that, you shouldn't be. Then maybe it might help your security for the encryption, maybe. But the reality, as you mentioned, is if you're still going online, you're using Google, you're using other apps, you're using other devices, then you can just get hacked through all of those. So it's not really benefiting you that much.
Yeah, or not even hack, you are actually telling Google what are you looking for. So it's not that Google is hacking you, it's that Google owns the service. So Google Maps, they own the service. They don't need to hack you. They have all that information.
Exactly. It's a kind of worrying world, but at the same respect is it's not different to ever it's been before, really, when it's come to the internet. And again, we had a conversation with the GDP, with the new measures coming through. So my main question is to do with the fact which a lot of you might be wondering at the moment, is you're seeing a lot of news reports going around where there's more big companies getting hacked. And myself and Ricardo, we talked about this, and it was you kind of made the really good point about GDP, that it's a case of it's not really more hacking, it's the fact that we're more aware of it.
Yeah, so GDPR forces companies to tell their clients if they have been hacked. So that's why we are hearing a lot more of companies being hacked, because they have if they don't tell us, their fine is even bigger. So I don't think that more companies are being hacked than 1 year ago, probably yes. But the proportion of us knowing is way bigger, because now all the companies that deal with European clients need to say it. And in practice, the companies that deal with European clients are not only in Europe, they're also in the US. So they are you know, in the whole world. So they need to tell you if they have been hacked. So I think that's related, yes.
Perfect. We have got more questions coming through, which is to do with, again, is to do with WhatsApp and as if we should be using it. But I suppose we've kind of covered that it doesn't really matter. It's they'll still be able to get your information from everywhere else. So it's kind of like a personal preference, I suppose, if it makes you feel better to use something.
Yeah, like the problem of WhatsApp and Facebook and all that is that all your friends are there. So if you ask me, yes, move to Signal, not to Telegram, to Signal. Yes, move to Signal. The problem is that in Signal you have your friends that are very technically, technical savvy. You will not have your mom in Signal because all your uncles are in WhatsApp. Like you will not be able to change your mom to Signal. So the only way that we can all move away from WhatsApp is if we move all our people to Signal. So it's going to be really difficult. So in practice, my recommendation on what I have been telling my friends is don't get work out, like don't get traumatized by WhatsApp. And the WhatsApp issue is not the biggest issue. Of course, it's not ideal, but it will not change the world in any way or your world in any way. You will not see any difference in your life if you change from WhatsApp to Telegram or Signal.
That's great. It's great. I think that's all the time we've got. We're coming up to the hour. However, if more questions are coming in for Ricardo, then please send them through. Write them on comments on the Facebook stream. We'll be uploading the video onto YouTube in the next few days, so you can write your comments on there as well, or you can directly message Youth Time. Send us all your questions, and we'll get Ricardo to potentially come back again and answer them all in a separate live session.
Yeah, sure. And also my LinkedIn or LinkedIn or my Facebook, no, but my LinkedIn and my email is there. So if you want to contact me, just contact me. And that's all. Thank you for the opportunity.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Ricardo. Thank you. And I'm sure this won't be the last time we see you. I expect you will be back supporting our youth and passing on the latest advice in digital security as well.
Cool. Yeah. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.